those of you who don't know, my name is Daniel Byer. I'm the Chief of Police here in Moulton, a graduate of Moulton ISD. In 1991, I was sitting exactly where you guys are sitting right now. So I'm proud to come back and talk to y'all today. The reason why we're here is because we live in different times than we did back in 1991. Certain things you can say or you can't say now that we could say back then. How many of you guys heard your parents say that? Times are different. Raise a hand. Wow, almost everybody's hands raised because they are different. With that being said, I'm going to introduce these people who are standing behind me today. We're going to talk to you about that, okay? First of all, Bill Tite, he's an officer with the police department here. Sarah Fisher, she's a juvenile probation officer in Lavaca County. We got Sergeant Mark Miller, and then you got your SRO. Everybody know what the SRO is? Hands up. Anybody? Tell me what it is. School Resource Officer. Okay? Means he's specially trained to be here in the school to deal with you guys. Alright? So, with that being said, I'm going to hand the mic to Bill, and he's going to give you guys a little presentation. Now, what's important to us is that when this presentation is over with, I'm going to want a lot of questions. I'm going to expect a lot of questions, all right? This is Moulton ISD. We are smart here, right? Everybody agree? I'm going to see some guys shake. Yes, we're very smart here at Moulton ISD, all right? So, don't let me down, all right? Sarah's been all around the county doing this presentation to all the school districts in Lavaca County. So let's stand out, okay? All right, here we go.
Okay, like the chief said, my name is Bill Tite. I actually just started with the department a few months ago, but I come with 30 years of law enforcement experience. I've been a school resource officer with Edgewood ISD and the city of San Antonio. I've also did gangs and narcotics with some agencies. I've been 20 years with Wellington County, so I've seen quite a bit. What we're here to talk to you about today is what your words can cost. And I'm pretty sure y'all probably heard where some folks have possibly made statements about, bringing a gun to school or that they're gonna, do something here on campus. You can't say that. If you do that, there's actually a statute under the Education Code which is called exhibition, use, or threat of exhibition, use of firearms. If you are having a conversation with your classmates and you happen to make a statement about bringing a gun to school, you could actually end up getting yourself into a situation where you could be arrested. That's where the nice lady over here comes in. And you definitely don't want to have that happen, okay? Also, you have to understand, anytime that you say anything, it can be on campus, it can be 300 to 1,000 feet outside of campus, and still attached to the school. If you're at a function, like you could be at the city park where you're doing your track meets, y'all could, you could still get in trouble for that. How many of y'all have heard about that shooting in Uganda? It's quite a few. Do y'all understand why we can't have y'all saying certain types of stuff? Yes? What do you think would happen if you were to make a statement like that and nobody did anything about it, and then maybe the next day you end up showing up with a gun, and then somebody ends up getting hurt? Wouldn't be a good thing, right? Well, there's also other things you can not just besides that one. I mean, you could end up getting there's a statute under the disorderly conduct statute for firearms. There's unlawful carrying that has a statute in there. There's places that you just can't bring weapons, or stuff. I mean, when I went to school, you could come to school and have a shotgun in the back of the truck, in the window. Can't do that anymore, can you? And you also need to understand that after this presentation that if we have to get called up here because of something that you say or do, you're not going to be able to use the I don't know. Because that's why we're here talking to you today and explaining this to you. Because we want you to understand, we want you to know what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and, you know, and make sure that you understand why you can't say what, you know, what we're trying to explain to you. Because I hate to see, you know, somebody make a wrong statement, even joking around, and the next thing you know, it gets a teacher, administrator, a parent, and then we're up there having to deal with it. And then, you know, it's not going to be like, oh, I didn't know. And just so you're aware, I mean, this county is very strict on how they handle this stuff, and it's a zero tolerance policy for any of this stuff, which means basically that if we have to come up here for something like that, there's a very, very, very good likelihood that somebody's going to end up getting arrested and going to juvenile. Does everybody understand that? Yep. There's not going to be any more, I don't know. So, just so you get a little bit of an idea of what happens when we show up and somebody makes a complaint, basically, we're going to show up, we're going to end up talking to you and whoever else heard it, we'll get statements, stuff like that, and we'll make a determination to whether it actually violated the law. And if it did, we're going to contact an official or one of her associates, and then she's going to make the decision of whether she's going to detain you or not. And she's going to explain that stuff, her side of it. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to her, okay?
Good morning. Like I said, my name is Ms. Fisher. I have been a certified JPO, which is a juvenile probation officer, for 11 years now. But I've really been working with kids and families for over 20 years in various different forms. So as they were explaining, if we get a phone call, when I say we, I mean my department, I'm the primary PO here for Lavaca County. I've been here for a little over 2 years. However, previously I was with Dallas County and worked with high-profile cases there, including murder. So I've seen and heard pretty much everything, including threatening to shoot up the school, drugs, things like that. What will happen is they'll call and say, hey, Sarah, I've got so-and-so kid, this is what they've said. And at that point, I ask them, do you have enough? You feel like you have a case? That's the first question I'm going to ask. They tell me yes, I would say, go ahead, arrest the kid, I'll meet you at your department. They can call 24/7, we're on call. Right now is my weekend call. So I think I got a call a few weeks ago, it was after hours, it was like 7:30 at night, and the chief called regarding something that was said at school. I can tell you right now, I also have a second county that I'm over, which is in Colorado County, and right now I have 3 kids sitting in detention for threatening to shoot up their school. I take it seriously. None of you, I think, were alive when Columbine happened. And I had just graduated when that took place. So for me, I take it seriously with everything that just happened, not even 5 months ago in Uvalde. We take it seriously. Anybody can say anything, but we need to be able to act and to make sure that not only the child who says something is safe, but also those at the school and kids in the community, as well as the adults. If you do say something like that, because we also have terroristic threat, since school has started this year, between the 2 counties, I've had 8 referrals so far for kids threatening to either shoot up the school, bring a gun to school, bomb the school. And it can also, one of the things, it can also be said on social media. It can be written out and posted on social media. If there's a screen grab done on it to your Snapchat, it usually gets turned over. There's an investigation. If it elicits an extensive police presence, which one of them did this year in another county, they had every sheriff's deputy was called to the school as well as numerous DPS officers, you're going to be detained. Let me just say it that way. There is no getting around that. If it elicits a response like that, you're going to go to detention, and you're not going to go to detention for a day or two. You're going to be in there for probably close to 30 days. Okay? The reason for that is because if you're that upset or you're saying something like this or you think it's a joke, it's not. It's serious in nature. Kids have said things like that before and they follow through with the threats. So if you were referred, you go to detention. We have numerous detention facilities that we contract with throughout the state of Texas. Some of them are 4 hours from here. So your detention hearings will be held via Zoom. You can have an attorney appointed for you, or your parents can retain one for you. Then, once the judge decides at some point if they're going to release you, you'll be on conditions of release pending a court action. When that case is sent to me at my office, law enforcement will put together the offense report, the DPS reporting form, and all videos. Body cam videos, interviews, things like that. They all come to me, all the cases flow through me at my office, and then they're submitted to the county attorney's office. Any case involving any type of threat to the school is automatically referred to the county attorney's office for prosecution. Okay? One of 3 things can happen, or technically 2. The county attorney can decide they're going to send the case back to me, and they're going to say, go ahead and put them on informal probation or deferred probation. That can happen. You'll be on it for a period of 6 months. Okay? It's automatic. You will have community service. You'll have probation fees. I will be coming to see you at school. I will see you at home. You will be reporting to my office. Okay? You will be referred for counseling services, maybe medication management if it's warranted. It just depends on your history, because every kiddo is different. The county attorney can also decide that they are going to go ahead and prosecute you, which means that you're going to be going to court in front of our district judge. I refer all of his cases to Judge Old. That's who they're scheduled in front of. He's been the district judge, I think, for this county for 10 years. And so he's very fair, but he tolerates nothing. You know, he doesn't put up with kids lying, kids being disrespectful. In fact, it's one of the things that are put in conditions. You have to do what you're told to do. Your electronics are monitored. I always recommend to parents, take the phone away. That's one thing. Out of all the cases that I've had so far this year with the terroristic threats, every single one but one involved something coming over through a telephone, through their cell phones, social media. It will get you caught up every time. So I always tell parents, take it away until they're done. What do they need it for? Honestly. And most of the kids that I dealt with, they typically drive or their parents pick them up from here, there, and everywhere, so they don't need it. A lot of kids think I'm mean because the stuff we deal with is serious every day. Yeah, I don't want to get a phone call that a kid that was on probation with me for a deferred case ended up going to school and shooting up the school and killing 5 kids and a couple of teachers as well. I've gone to the school before and was put in lockdown when I was there visiting because there was a situation with a kid threatening at the school, so they had to lock it down while I was there. It's not fun, but it is serious. Nowadays, you can't say, I have had a kid who told a classmate that he was going to bring his gun to school the next day. It elicited a response from the police. Well, it turns out he was talking about his airsoft rifle. Don't use the word gun in school. Please don't. Don't use the word bomb. Don't say I'm going to shoot somebody. All of those words will elicit a response. You'll end up in my office, and at that point, you've invited me into your life, and I'm pretty strict with stuff. I don't have a tolerance for kids who are going to threaten other people, threaten the classmates, threaten their teachers. We all have a responsibility for each other. One of the other things that's been coming up since the school year, not here yet, thank goodness, but every other school that I got, is the THC vape pens, or the Delta 8 vape pens, and parents are like, had no idea. Delta 8 is legal in the state of Texas if you're over the age of 21. If you're not, it's not legal for you, which I really would hope none of yours 21. So, if you have them, if you use them, if you get caught with them, that's a felony in the state of Texas. Did you all know that? Anybody here? Y'all, a lot of you are shaking your head, yes, good, I'm glad you know. Because that seems to be a big issue. Because now we're sending things off to be tested, and you as the child and your parents are going to be responsible for the cost of the testing. To have one cartridge tested is $180. So, I had a kid who was caught with 5 a couple of weeks ago. So take 5 times 180, I'm not good at math, that's why I didn't go into anything where I had to add and subtract too much. But it's another problem that we're having at schools. Not to mention the medical side effects that are happening with kids, because there's something called glycerin that is in there, especially in Delta 8, that causes a coating to your lungs, to the lining of your lungs. It coats your lungs where you eventually will start having issues breathing. Anyway, so you know the words not to use. You understand, do you all kind of understand what would happen if you do use them? Yes, okay. Do you have any questions about the guns or threatening to bring a gun to school or anything like that? Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever had to deal with a case that involved a hit list?
Yes.
Could you explain that a little bit?
That was when I was in Dallas, actually. We had a kid who was 14. He was already on probation. He had actually just gotten out of a residential treatment program. We knew he had some mental health issues, and we had known that he did not like the school that he was assigned to go to. Dallas is broken up into, I can't even tell you how many schools. And so we had to go back to the same school because he went back to the same house that he resided in. The kiddo, I think he had been out for 3 weeks because I had actually sent his case back out to the field. In Dallas, we had I think 6,000 kids on probation, so we had numerous units that were taking care of all these cases. He had actually gotten upset one day at school and had written out a hit list of kids and shared it with one of his best friends who turned it over to school. I became involved again because the kid had not been back in the community for 30 days at that point. So he was rearrested for it. We ended up sending him to a second residential treatment program. He was not successful there. And due to that fact that we had already sent him to one placement due to the initial offense, which was a sexual offense in nature, and he was there for 14 months for treatment, when he was sent to the second and was not doing what he was supposed to do, and he ended up getting unsuccessfully discharged. That child ended up going to TJJD until he was 18 years old. So, because if you go through the court process, if you're arrested on a felony, all felonies, just so you understand, are referred to the county attorney's office. There's nothing I can do about that. That is standard practice. Any terroristic threat, any the education code that the officer type is speaking about, that's automatically referred to the county attorney's office as well. It's anything that's going to threaten or endanger the public are automatically referred. Um, if you, if you have a hit list of kids that are teachers that you don't like, that you want to hurt, I'm going to encourage you to go talk to someone, an adult. If there's a teacher that you like, I don't care if it's your pastor, your priest, a counselor at school, your best friend's mom. Please go talk to someone. Your life is not over, but you could end up seriously changing the trajectory of what could happen in the future. Okay? That kiddo, he went to CJJD, and I believe he ended up later, because we keep tabs. My previous coworkers, we still talk about some of the kids we have. I think he ended up in prison like 3 years later, in adult prison, and he was sentenced to like 20 years or something. So, but, yeah, especially right now, 17-year-olds you're an adult, but you're not. Legally, if you get arrested at 17, you're not coming with me. You will be going to the county jail. Okay? And you will get to sit there and go through the court process as an adult. That's different than the juvenile process. And I will say I have a case where I had a kid who was on deferred for a terroristic threat. Sure enough, school starts this year, and I gave him, at the end of last year, he gets referred for another one. So now he's on formal probation, and he also understands that I'll be more strict with him this time, even though I was pretty strict the first time. But he apparently didn't learn that you can't say stuff. Yeah. So if you're that unhappy about something or someone, you need to go talk to someone. Okay, and hopefully, if it's your friend, that friend will go say something. So, because I know, I have 2 sisters, and when we were younger, we'd get mad, but if something's going on, we don't know how to tell our mom, we'll tell one of the other ones who would tell our mom. So, life isn't perfect for anybody. So, just keep that in mind and make sure you talk to an adult if there's something going on. Bullying is something that is an issue. I have some kids right now who have been referred for terrorist threats or threatening to exhibit a weapon. Turns out they were being bullied. So now there's the investigation with schools going on into the bullying. If that's happening, you need to talk to someone. You might not see change right away because there's a process that schools have to do to address bullying. And there has to be documentation from the school, from teachers, and things like that. So, and my kids that I work with, they all know if something's going on at school, they can let me know, because I go see them at school every month. I'm required to go twice a semester. I go see them once a month just to make sure they know that I'm there, and if something's going on, I'll talk to the schools to help them figure it out. Any other questions about anything? Okay. Chief?
We're not here today to be negative, to punish you guys. We're here today because we want to be proactive about making sure that you understand the serious consequences of saying things you shouldn't say here at school or doing things you shouldn't do here at school. It's important to me. Like I said, I was sitting there where you guys are right now. I feel like I've succeeded in life. I've made some bad decisions, probably made some of the bad decisions that would have got me into trouble today, but I got away with it back in the 80s and 90s. We never had police officers come to our school and talk to us. In fact, we were joking about it the other day. Whenever I was in school, the principal didn't want the police officers at the school. So we didn't have nobody come and talk to us. But times are different. I want each and every one of you to know that any one of these officers here, you can talk to, you can trust. We're here once again because we care about you guys. we want you guys to succeed in life. And if you make bad decisions by simply saying something you shouldn't say here at school, and it's taken the wrong way, you could end up going and see that lady right there, and it's going to hinder you. I used to always tell my son whenever he was growing up, I said, you will be successful in life if you simply don't get in trouble with the law. How many of you believe that statement is true? Raise your hand. There's a few raising their hands. You know why I say that? Because in the workforce, people that are my age and a few years younger that are out there in the workforce that are trying to get jobs and pursue careers, they have criminal records. They've been arrested because of doing something stupid when they were young. And I don't want you guys to do that. Because I know each and every one of you have a great start in life simply because you are going to Moulton ISD. I know that. I know that for a fact. So, what are some of the trigger words that you guys think that we're talking about today? Does anybody know a trigger word or what would elicit a response? Does anybody have any idea what one of those words would be? Throw it out there.
Gun.
Gun. Good. Who said that? Good job. Another one. Give me another word right there.
AK-47.
That's a gun. Good job. Hope. What? Kill. Kill. Trigger word. Good one. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Knife. Knife is a trigger word. You bet. Bomb. There you go. Thank you. Right there, young man.
Nuke.
What?
A nuke.
A nuke? Yeah. You got it. That would probably elicit a response. Yeah.
Who did you dirty?
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry? Harmful words? Yeah. Sure. Good, thank you. There's not a wrong answer to that question. It seriously is. The reason why I asked is because right now you are all trying to think of words that you know now you shouldn't say. And that's what's important. That's why we're here today. We didn't write this out. It was unscripted. We just wanted to be here today because we care. That's why. Believe it or not, we care. So, any questions? Anyone at all? Go ahead.
So our kids are really good during school hours about being so responsible, keeping people safe. My question to give them the set of tools outside of school hours, what should they do if they see on social media something that's either in print or maybe it's just a picture of a cache of weapons? What would you recommend that they do outside of school hours? I know in school they would come into somebody's classroom, they'd find an adult and they'd show us. Can you give them what they should do if they see that at 8 o'clock at night?
You bet. Social media, I hate to say this, but I agree with this statement personally. Social media is a root of all evil. It is. It really is for you guys, for kids. Even for us adults. I spend way too much time on social media myself, unfortunately. But Ms. D made a good point. How many of you guys actually talk to your parents? Like, hey, mom and dad. How many of you guys? Don't be ashamed. Raise your hand. I'm proud of each and every one of you guys that are raising your hands right now. Because we really need to talk to our parents. My kids talk to me. I believe sometimes they're afraid to come because I always tell them this. First of all, I preach integrity to them. Everybody know what integrity is? Somebody tell me. One of you guys tell me what integrity is. Sorry? Integrity. What does the word integrity mean? We use it in our profession. You see it on our patrol cars, on our uniforms. We talk about it often. What does integrity mean? It's real simple. Do the right thing even when no one is looking. Now, there's a big, long definition to integrity, and I would like for each and every one of you to go look it up. But to summarize what it means, it simply means do the right thing even when no one is looking. If you live your life by that every day, you're going to be successful. I guarantee it. You'll be able to stand up in front of a school one day and preach like I am right now. because I've had integrity throughout my life. I've slipped sometimes, I've made mistakes, but I've had integrity throughout my life. And so I'm able to stand here today in front of you guys, in front of the school, in front of the community, and hopefully be trusted. In the town that I grew up in, it wasn't easy to do what I do in the town you grow up in, but I've been able to do it and be somewhat successful at it. Getting back to Ms. D's question, I know I got off the subject there for a minute. But getting back to Ms. D's question, what do you do? What you need to do, first of all, is be able to talk to your parents. If you don't feel like you can't talk to your parents and tell your parents what you're seeing on social media, there's a whole bigger issue that you guys are going to have. But be able to tell your parents is important. Hey, this is what I've seen, what do I do about it? If you feel like you can't tell your parents, come tell us. You can approach any one of us at any time. Call the police department. My phone number, personal phone number, is published out there. Everybody has it. Trust me, it rings 5-6 times a day with problems in the community. So for those of you guys who don't know it, look it up, ask somebody, they'll give it to you. Trust me. Right, Say? Yeah, you're shaking. Right, Hope? Am I answering the phone a lot? On the phone a lot? Yeah. So be able to tell your parents or tell a police officer or tell someone you trust. Even if you got to wait till the next day and come back and tell a teacher if you feel comfortable doing that. Just tell somebody. Okay? Any other questions? Y'all let Ms. D ask all the questions. I thought everybody shook their head. Yeah, we're going to have questions today for y'all. We're going to impress Ms. Fisher. She's here visiting our school. Y'all heard about her vast experience that she's had out there with schools and in other counties. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you talked about the words that they say and how, the threats they make with their words or those trigger words. What about if it's with their actions? Because we have a lot of kids who I don't believe would do anything, but they'll go around to their friends and they do this. So that's a threat. Can they be held accountable for that if it's, someone records that and takes that in a threatening way, if it's caught on a picture? Can you talk about that?
Does anybody show that again, Ms. B? Show again what you just did? Okay. So everybody see what she just did? Everybody see it?
This is what I've seen you guys do.
So when y'all see that, what does that mean? Was that an illicit response? Do y'all think that would elicit a response from an adult thinking that it means something that it shouldn't? How many of y'all think that? Raise your hands. Raise them up. So nobody thinks that pointing that, and I want to know why. Why don't y'all think that? I got just a couple of hands up, and that concerns me. Why do y'all not think that there's an issue with that gesture? Somebody have an answer for me? Because nobody raised their hand. Is it maybe that gesture with words? Okay. So why do you think that an adult would think different than you? We're different. You call me old? It's okay. I'm sure I am old. Okay. So what does your generation mean? Or what does your generation think that means?
What does it mean, though? What does that mean? Why do y'all
We're not putting you on the spot. I appreciate you for raising your hand and being brave, because I probably wouldn't have did it whenever I was your age in front of you. And we're not here to embarrass you, so thank you for raising your hand. You get a freebie from me, by the way. It does. It will elicit a response from even you guys. He even said it meant something different in my generation because we play video games. But it still means the same thing. It still appears to be a gun, and it will elicit a response. I see the hand right here.
This could be like more focal because it's not necessarily like this having together for me this necessarily.
So you don't feel like that? You put two fingers together, it doesn't seem to be threatening? Okay. Okay. And you're right. It could be. It could be exactly how you hold your fingers to change the way we think about what it may mean. Does everybody know what your middle finger means? I'm not going to hold it up. Does everybody know what that means? Does everybody in the room? So, that's your what? It's your mom's finger? Everybody knows that's an offensive thing that we shouldn't be doing, right? Right? Everybody knows that? I think what I'm excited about right now is that I got you guys thinking, and that's why we're here today. You guys are thinking, and I appreciate you two raising your hands and contributing to the discussion. But once again, what's important is that we're thinking about words we shouldn't use, hand gestures we probably shouldn't do, because of the time that we live in today. And you guys, I'm fearful for your generation. I'm scared for my kids because we do live in a different time, in a different age, in a different world than what I grew up in. Anything else? Thank you, Ms. B, for the question, for the discussion. Anything else? Yes.
They also made me watch, I went to gold, so I was trying to see everything.
You worked where?
At gold.
Okay.
They also taught people to drawings. That's a big deal, and they pass letters.
Very good. Very good. Drawings, writings, drawings can mean things. It can elicit a response. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, I actually have a case in Hallettsville right now with a kid who had some drawings with a lot of writings, and that child has been charged with multiple counts of a terroristic threat right now. And I want to go back to Ms. Dees, what she was saying. If you do a hand gesture like that, and you say, I'm going to shoot so-and-so, that is enough for a terroristic threat. If you say anything that makes someone fearful of their personal self, that is what we consider a terroristic threat, and you can be charged with it. Okay? All I'm saying is just pay attention to what you're saying, and I would hope that you wouldn't be doing those hand gestures if you're in a big city, because it'll get you shot in Dallas. Okay? I'm not kidding you. They have serious gang issues in Dallas. I worked in one of the sections for a while. I had several kids from it who were gangbangers and had committed murder. You drive past them, they'll shoot you if you do something like that in a car. So luckily, though, I will say this about Moulton School District. I haven't had, since I've been with the department for almost 3 years, I have not had any kids from Moulton that have been referred to my department. I only have you all and Sacred Heart in Hallettsville. Those are the only two schools that I've had where I have not received a referral packet and a kid being arrested. So I do want to say you guys are doing something right here, okay? But we just want to make sure that given everything that's going on, you all keep doing things right, okay?
Mouthful right there. That makes me proud. Extremely proud. Because I know each and every one of you guys out here know right from wrong and being raised right, because you are from Moulton. In my regular job, I travel 10 counties, 11 if you count Bear County. I go into multiple school districts to see kids, and I always say that I'm most proud of our kids because I see the way other kids act in other districts, in other schools, nearby in neighboring communities, and right away I say, not in Moulton. I always say that doesn't happen in Moulton because our kids are different, and when I say it, I mean it. But thank you, Sarah, and thanks for the question. Anything else? Anything? Run out of time. Okay. Thank you guys for paying attention. We appreciate it. God, have a good day.